So the bad thing about getting into film instead of going to med school is that every time I shoot one of these videos, I'm thinking so much about the script being perfect and the presentation being perfect. That's too much performance for me. I just want to do what everybody says is the next big thing, and that is speaking like a human. So I'm going to be putting my screen to record right here. And I'm going to be presenting what I would be presenting to myself if I went to medical school and started a clinic. So I've been running a marketing agency for 8 years now, basically fresh out of college. And it started with a camera. And now this is basically the full loop of going through all of the operations that it takes to do a marketing campaign and bringing it full circle to growing a business in general. And so I have a lot of friends that run clinics now because we all went on our different paths. And now I'm having a lot of consultations with them. So this is what I would consult to a close friend of mine, and this is what I would consult to myself. There's an entire funnel that will take existing demand and take them all the way through and help you grow your revenue of your practice, right? And there are stages to this. So the beginning is they found you, right? They know who you are because they either searched and you popped up, or they're scrolling and you popped up. And then they trust you because of what they saw, right? So they click in, they submit a form, and the information goes into your system, right? Ideally, they would get a reply in a minute, right? In a minute or in 5 minutes. The speed to lead here is important, right? How quickly are you showing up saying, hey, we're open and can we schedule you? And then they show up, ideally, right? They don't ghost you. They go through the process of, signing up their insurance with you, either via text or in person. Text is probably preferable. And then they have such a good experience that they come back and they refer their friends, right? And their family members. Number one, can they find you, right? The Google is basically the first impression. When somebody searches, Google is where they're going, right? And then in Google, you have either your local service ads that you're putting out, your Google ads that you're putting out, and your Google profile ideally would organically pop up. You are creating campaigns, right? And then this is where you kind of would hire an SEO person or a Google Ads person, someone that understands how to target specific regions and use keywords. At the same time, you're thinking about meta ads as well, because they're two different platforms. Typically, people that you can find on like Fiverr or Upwork can manage both, but Meta has its own algorithm, Google has its own algorithm. One uses content, one uses keywords, so sometimes it's not the best to get someone that is a jack of all trades. And this is a caveat. I'm not gonna go deep into any one of these specific platforms. I'm basically going to go deep into how all of these platforms work together for your business, right? Because I don't think that you're going to be spending time learning about the Meta Ads dashboard and how to use the AI targeting. I mean, that's probably a good place to start, but there's a lot of nuances to setting up the categories of your Google business profile and connecting your ads via tracking codes into your CRM or into your EMR or EHR. But we'll touch on that briefly. So they can find you now, right? Or they can't find you because that platform is not set up the way that it should be set up, or your ads team is underperforming or not exactly targeting the type of services that you want to go after. Number two, do they trust the site in 5 seconds, right? So somebody clicks immediately, or somebody sees your content even. Is it before and after photos? Is it something that is just very like, hello, my name is Dr. Bartholomew, and this is what dental implants are? Like, what kind of content are you putting out there? That's kind of trustworthy, right? Because but there are so many actors nowadays, you don't even know what's AI or not. So the idea is the content, photos that are before and after photos, reviews on the page. Reviews are not buried, you're starting with them, right? They're front and center. They're the second thing that you see after dentists in a specific region. You should have like patient before and after photos, reviews, stuff like that. And then that basically gives them a reason to understand why you are the person, why you're the top dog in your area, and why they should automatically choose you, right? Trust is the product in this moment. The third section right here is, does anyone catch the lead, right? And typically practices, right, you have to understand the whole entire workflow, right? And at a very basic level, somebody finds you, they submit a form, it goes into your practice email, and then the scheduler goes in and calls that person, books them into your EHR, and then there's a whole entire procedure process, invoice, billing. So you kind of just check off all those boxes as like this really quick setup, and then it just stays at that, right? you're using an EHR basically every single day, and that's the source of truth. But then there's leads and there's meta and there's comments and Instagram DMs. So that's that side, right? Does anybody catch the lead when that side meets this side, right? Immediately with source attribution, they know who this person is. You can text them back instantly, right? You can have one place where all of the information about any specific type of lead, right, comes through. So let's say you have a specific section for cataract leads or a specific section for dental implant leads, right? You can categorize these, and then after hours, it will still work, right? You can still text people immediately when they submit a form, or you can send them a text saying, sorry, we missed your call, right? That's the speed to lead, right? You want to catch that lead immediately when it comes in. Number 4, do they show up to your practice in your chair? They're ready, they're there, they're a patient, and this is not false, right? This is not a ghost that submitted a form. Because a lot of times, I mean, you know better than me, people are not showing up to their appointments, right? And usually any EHR or EMR will have this like patient follow-up process. It's not really customizable as well as it could be, but for the most part, you should probably have this one set up, right? Reminding people to show up 3 times, ideally 24 hours before, 2 hours before, and then when they confirm the appointment up front. 1 tap to reschedule, right? Simple. No-shows are a system gap, they're not bad luck. Not considering the fact that a lot of no-shows are just like bad quality leads, but assuming that you have very tight campaigns that are targeted to a very specific person for a specific lead, right? Dental implant near me. You can put a Google ad behind that. It's expensive, but that's the idea. You're going to be getting those high quality, high intent leads coming through. So there's no reason why they shouldn't show up, right? So if they don't show up, you should understand why. That should be a note. And then you can put them in a follow-up sequence, right? Maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe money is tight. Maybe, they're on vacation, right? These are things that, you should have in your system in some way, and you should have campaigns pre-built, like follow-up sequences every 6 months. A patient or a lead will get a text back saying, hey, is it time for this? So do they come back? Now they're a patient, and you want to maximize the value of that patient because it's a lot cheaper to get that patient through the door because they already trust you, they know who you are, you know them on a first name basis, than it is to get a new patient that has no idea who you are, and you're creating content and you're putting out ad spend just to get them to see you, recognize you, and then you come top of mind, right? If they're searching and your name pops up. So the patients that you already have are going to be the ones that you're asking for referrals from, asking for reviews, and then gently inviting them back in, either through an offer or through a new seasonal thing that you're doing. The idea is that you want to stay top of mind, right? Without bothering them. You want to be able to be a friend and be of value, right? And a source of truth and a source of health in their life without being so promotional. And there's a lot of easy ways to do that where people will naturally want to come to you. So the same funnel now, more optimized than that quick setup guide, right? Where you set up your Google business profile, set up your website, pay one person to do your website, pay one person to, and then basically you pay your scheduler, right? Because then it's gonna go straight to their inbox. This is a much more clean system. This is a system that has automations in it, that has platforms optimized to their best ability, and that has a strategy behind it, right? Because not every one type of practice functions the same as the other. Some people want to lean more on these services, some people have these machines, right? So your specific practice needs your specific build out, right? And for the most part, these are tried and true platforms. There's Google Business, there's Google Ads, there's Meta Ads, content, thinking about it as an entire map of all the possible marketing that you can be doing, and then thinking, how do these seamlessly fit with each other, and how can we do the most potent job in each of these systems with the experts of their fields. This thing that I've been scrolling through is going to be in the description if you want to look through it yourself, and let me know if you have any questions.